Hello, friends. Namaste, namaskar, and vanakkam. I'm here to talk about the new moon in Virgo happening in Chitra nakshatra. This year, this new moon is a little special because it's coinciding with the solar eclipse. But there are a few things I want to talk about. I want to talk about four specific things. First, this Amavasya is called Mahalaya Amavasya, and we'll touch upon that. The right after this new moon, there is Navratri, 9 days of celebrating the divine feminine, the solar eclipse, and the combustion of planets joined sun during this eclipse. So let's start with Mahalaya Amavasya. Mahalaya, Maha meaning great, Laya meaning time. Laya also means destruction. Aalaya also means a housing or a building. So Mahalaya, it has a deeper meaning. It has a really deeper meaning, which it means the greatness of time, the greatness of things unfolding in time, the greatness of destruction and creation with time. And it's the last day of Pitru Paksha. Mahalaya Amavasya is the last day of Pitru Paksha, Pitru meaning your ancestors. So we have been the last 14 days preceding this new moon has been a time where Indians pay homage to their ancestors. And, I've said this in my previous videos, but your life on earth would have not been possible if your ancestors didn't exist, if they didn't go through the cycle of life, through the cycle of birth and death and reproduction, if they didn't have children, you would never be here. You would never have this body. You would never have these genes. You would never be able to move through this planet to do anything you want. Even like enjoying an ice cream, you could not have done that, right? So it's important to pay homage to your ancestors, especially on the tithi of their death. But if you don't know the tithi of their death, this time of the year is really great, especially the Mahalaya Amavasya, the last day of the Pitru Paksh, when the energies are really concentrated, is a really good time to pay homage to your ancestors. That's Mahalaya Amavasya. Then the day after this new moon or this Amavasya, that is October 15th, we start with the 9 nights of honoring the divine goddess. It's called Devi Paksha, Devi meaning goddess. Paksha means fourth night or 14 days. It's not really 14 days, but yeah, the first 9 days or Navratri, Nav meaning 9, Ratri means nights, 9 nights of the goddess is when you start to honor the goddess and her power to help you manifest and create a life of your dreams, right? The new moon in Virgo is really specific for this because Virgo, the name for Virgo in Indian languages is Kanya. Kanya meaning a little girl. And the little girl, as she grows up, has the whole potential of the universe built into her. She has the capacity to give birth to life, to make a home for you, to make a career for you, to give you money, to give you knowledge, to give you wisdom, right? So different forms of the goddess are celebrated through each night of the Navratri. And based on where you are in India, there's a tendency to emphasize on a certain form of the goddess. So in certain states of India and certain cultures of India, some would worship Durga, and Durga is the fully embodied feminine form where she's delicate, but she's also very fierce, right? She can talk to you so sweetly and remind you of a mother, or she can be a lover, but she can also be this fierce woman who can cut through bullshit. And that's what she did. She killed the demon Mahishasur. In some parts of the country, Saraswati is celebrated because Saraswati is the goddess of wisdom, not just knowledge, but wisdom. She has the Vedas in her hand. She holds the Veena, so she's the goddess of arts. But she's not just knowledge and information. She's the ability to put it into context. She's the ability to connect them all. And Saraswati is that overarching power, right? So some parts of southern India especially have emphasized the importance of Saraswati and pray to her. They'll keep books. They would pray to books, because when you read a book, you invoke Saraswati, that kind of stuff. And then some parts of the country would also emphasize Lakshmi, who's the goddess of abundance, who's the goddess of wealth and money. And wealth and money is a very loose way of talking about her, because abundance is very mystical. It's not just money. It is being happy with the money, right? Abundance is an inside force, and you will not feel prosperous or abundant if you don't feel that from inside. You can have all the money in the world, but if you feel like a pauper inside, you would act like that way. You would act like a miser. So Saraswati is that mystical force behind abundance, and is actually one of the most misunderstood goddesses. And actually her energy is also very difficult to understand. So that's the second thing. The third thing I wanted to talk about is, let me share my screen. I want to talk about the eclipse, the solar eclipse, right? The solar eclipse is happening in the nakshatra of Chitra. And this is really important. So if you see the journey of the sun from Leo, there are these few nakshatras in Leo: Magha, the Phalgunis, Purva and Uttar and Purva Phalguni, and then Hasta. They are all related to coming into power, and then how do you work with that power? How do you work with the world and with that power that you have? Then when the sun moves into Virgo and further into Virgo, which is in Hasta and Chitra, it's really using that power to organize and create stuff, not just for yourself, but for everybody, right? So that's the journey the sun has been on for the past couple of months. And now it's getting eclipsed in Virgo on this new moon. So the moon is joining the sun and the south node of the moon, Ketu. They're called nodes of the moon for a very specific reason, because you need the moon to be on the ecliptic for this eclipse to happen. So the south node of the moon is eclipsing the sun from Libra. Now, the nakshatra of Chitra is very interesting. The nakshatra of Chitra is ruled by the deity Vishvakarma, and he's the divine architect. All our celestial bodies in the sky, all the planets, their arrangements, the laws of physics, the architecture of the universe comes from Vishvakarma. He governs the laws of physics and nature, right? And he's the designer of it all. In Libra, so Chitra is one nakshatra that spans from Virgo to Libra. In Virgo, it's really organizing material stuff, organizing matter, right? There is energy and there's matter, E equal to mc squared. That's Einstein's famous equation. So Virgo is about organizing matter, whereas Libra is about organizing, building and rebuilding, maintaining relationships. So Ketu eclipsing the sun. Sun is your inner power. It's your confidence. It is your vision. It's your clarity. It's the inner purity you're having, right? Ketu is, and Ketu, if you think about Ketu, it's the neck down of the dragon. It's a very concentrated force. It does not have a head. So it does not know, it does not have directions, but it's very focused, right? The neck down is very focused, but it also holds all our past karmas, our past memories, our past patterns and resentments, and all of that is in Ketu. So it's like a magnifying glass. And it's if you have that magnifying glass on a piece of paper and let the sun rays filter through it, the sun rays will start to burn the paper, right? If it is focused correctly. And that burning is the purifying force that that coming together of that Ketu and that sun does. Again, sun is our power, right? And those in powerful positions, authority figures and stuff like that, they might feel the effect of the eclipse a little bit more, because it is Ketu questioning your power. It's questioning all that you have done in the past, right? Your past actions, your past behaviors, your intentions, even like the subtlest of the things that you have done. And it makes you question, are you fit to be in power of given your past of what you've all done, right? Ketu is also, I would say, it's disillusionment. So Rahu, end of the node, Rahu creates Maya. It's all our illusions that grab us, right? All our devices, all our the TV, all the pleasures in life, how they grab us, that's Rahu. And then Ketu is disillusionment. It's turning away from all of that and saying, not this, not this, not this. The word in Sanskrit is, they say neti, 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 not this, not this, not this. So it's really being disillusioned by those in power, maybe your own family members whom you consider as authority figures, right? Or your past relationships that you have had, and really being disillusioned by that. But then also, as soon as you become disillusioned, as soon as you recognize the blind spots that you had or the relationship had, rebuilding from that place. So that's the energy that's coming together. The eclipse is creating that disillusionment with the past and how you have been. And it's also opening up a portal, because it's right after the eclipse, there is Navratri, to rebuild from there. And what are you rebuilding? Really, you're rebuilding power structures in relationships, power dynamics in relationships. Sometimes when people get together, there are cliques. You tend to dominate one over the other. All of those, right? You're reorganizing and restructuring that. So really rebuilding your own relationships, whether it's with others or whether it's with yourself, how you treat yourself in a relationship. I think that's important, right? So remember that. The fourth thing I wanted to talk about is Mars being combust. Actually, honestly, moon is pretty burnt, right? It's really close to the sun. It's burnt in sun's rays. Mercury is combust, but Mercury is used to being close to the sun. So it's used to being combust. It's more often than not very close to the sun, but it takes very little for Mars to be combust. Mars becomes combust within 17 degrees of the sun, right? And you can see the distance between Mars and sun is less than 17 degrees. So it's combust, and it's also joined Ketu. And whenever Mars and Ketu join, I become a little cautious, because Mars joined Ketu will again bring up your past anger, resentments. These are like hidden stuff that you didn't even know existed within you, right? These all start to come to surface, and they start to burn you from within. You become restless about it, past frustrations, and you become impatient with it. And there's a tendency to lash out onto others. And it can be in big ways, like the conflict in Israel, or it can be in subtle ways, like the way you talk to somebody, the tone of your voice, the curtness, the way you use words and you cut somebody down, right? All of those come into focus. And it's when you are in a position of power, even if you are a manager at work, you notice that tendency to use your words to cut somebody down, or use your power to cut somebody down. And all that blind spots will start to come into focus, like you have held a magnifying glass, and it's a time to purify it and rebuild from it. Do not be paralyzed. Do not beat yourself, self-flagellate. Like that's also a tendency with Ketu, self-negation and self-flagellation. Instead, notice it and then quickly pivot and readjust your course, rebuild from there. So my advice to all of you, that this is a great portal, great time to build something new, build a community, a tribe, a group of friends that really align with who you are from the inside, right? And yeah, it's a great time to tap into the divine feminine and understand her energy and what she's trying to teach you, not in overt ways, but also in subtler ways. What are the hidden layers and messages that the divine feminine is trying to teach you. Happy Navratri. Have a great eclipse cycle. Happy full moon. And my many blessings and wishes to you. Bye-bye.